Hi, and welcome to the Purple Rock Podcast Survivor Summer Rewatch of Survivor Philippines, also known as A Good Day to Blackjack and Hookers, which you know nothing about, right, Matt?
That's right. Definitely not going to a bachelor party this weekend, Emily.
No,
Definitely
not at
not.
all. And we are your hosts for the final time this week. It's been fun. We hope you guys have enjoyed it too. And so let's get started with our favorite person to talk about, Abby Maria.
I mean, she's the gift that keeps on giving this season, isn't she?
She is, and at last they do in fact decide to vote her out, but there's still some entertainment along the way.
Yeah. I mean, and they really start off right away with it. Like one of the first things we see in the episode is them all making fun of her behind her back for her terrible idol bluff.
Yes, as she's going off to walk in the woods and all that, and then they go off to the reward challenge, which Scoopin wins, gets to pick two people. He picks Malcolm and Lisa, and then promises Denise, "You can have all my food" as a consolation prize.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Abby is right there, so Abby's very much excluded. But Abby also seems very surprised not to be picked on this reward.
I mean, why wouldn't Scoopin pick Abby? They're so close.
They're so close. They've voted together so many times. She's so great to be around. It's just a really natural choice.
It's a fit. It's a fit,
But that means while Scoopin is off having a complete sugar high on the reward, Abby and Denise, who just love each other so much, they get to hang out at camp.
Yeah, and that goes about as well as expected. I think my favorite part of that is in Denise is in full-on therapist mode, or for you Twin Peaks fans, she's basically pulling a Dougie Jones and just repeating the last two words of everything Abby says.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take your word for that one, but
yeah,
it
because
is funny.
No one on the staff watches Twin Peaks except for me.
Sorry.
Monsters.
Hey, it came out like when I was born, so the original version. but sorry, you want to go?
No, I was just going to say that, Denise is trying to placate Abby. She's, she by basically saying nothing. Just if Abby says something, just smile and nod, repeat the last two words to show you were listening, which is why I call it like her therapist voice, because it's like what I imagine a therapist would do when they're falling asleep in session to show they're listening. They just repeat the last two words they heard as they woke up.
And it's funny because Abby is like, "Oh, it's so terrible. Denise is such a horrible person." Like, not even just like, "Oh, Denise and I don't get along." It's like, Denise is a terrible person. And then there's like, even while it may be sort of facile, it's like evidence of Denise trying to be polite and like active listening and all of that. And like, yeah, it is tough to not go on the reward, I'm sure. And stuff like that. Meanwhile, Malcolm, Lisa, and Scoopin are having the time of their lives on this boat.
Scoopin hasn't had sugar in, 20 years, 30 years? It's been a long time for the man.
That's astounding. I just don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how you would avoid sugar for that long. Like, just, the practicality of it kind of amazes me.
Maybe he should have had more sugar. Maybe he needed that outlet.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? Yeah. But I also, just a little moment I love is because part of the reward is cookies, and Malcolm is saying like, "Oh, it's been established I have a weakness for cookies." And that was amazing. Gotta love a callback, especially on a reality show, like, because that means the players have the self-awareness, which isn't easy.
Right, especially because, I mean, like, it's something that they had probably joked about after it happened, and Malcolm had been joking about it, so, it kind of turned into its own thing.
Yeah, so that's fun. And then, Scoopin once again continues getting injured all the time by getting headbutted by the whale shark.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was good. Yeah.
And then they come back, and Abby starts to scramble, first by telling Lisa that Lisa's definitely on the bottom of the final four, and Denise knows she can beat Lisa, which would imply she wants to keep Lisa around, so not the best argument.
Yeah, okay, so I kind of get why Abby would think that she's a swing vote here. There's obviously two pairs. The problem with thinking you're a swing vote if you're Abby is that you're Abby. Why would they ever keep you around? Because you're terrible.
Yeah, it really is incredible because, like, it shows how bad Abby is that they still vote her out.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like,
I mean,
that's
yeah, I mean, and that's, I mean, so we did skip over like one thing, which is that like there was that final three deal.
right.
I don't know. Oh, God, I can't even finger quote tonight. Sorry, guys, I'm a little tired. But there was that final three deal between like Lisa, Scoopin, and Malcolm. But I don't think that anyone besides Malcolm and Scoopin are taking that seriously. Lisa certainly isn't.
Right. So none of those three people besides Malcolm and Scoopin are taking it seriously.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just said I'm tired. Give me a break here.
Well, I'm supposed to not make fun of you. That's asking too much.
That is asking too much. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
But no. I mean, so Malcolm and Scoopin might be taking that seriously, but Lisa isn't, and Lisa definitely wants. I think Lisa kind of has a good sense of her place in the game. So, and because she definitely makes some comments about how it would definitely be good for her game if she keeps Abby around. So why don't they keep Abby around?
I get, presumably that Scoopin just doesn't want to, doesn't decide to. They say it's so Denise can beat Malcolm in the final four challenge. So they're really ignoring the fact that, and this is, obviously this happens, but definitely not realizing that they don't stand a great chance against Denise either. Maybe they're afraid Malcolm, once he has immunity, will play his idol for Denise, but in which case you might as well throw you got to assume that Malcolm and Denise are voting for Abby,
right.
At least that Malcolm would, so you should still be safe.
Yeah, it's a little odd, but I think it's kind of explained in the finale, implicitly, if not explicitly. And I think it's the fact that Scoopin thinks he can win.
Yep. And Denise has done, I think sort of an underreported part of her game is how Denise has done a good job at being pushing the narrative of how, you should bring the noble people, bring people, who are good, even though she then has to fight against that to convince Scoopin to vote out Malcolm. It helps at least in getting Abby out.
Right, which was a key.
So much better. Yeah, and that was a much tougher one for her to do.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think Malcolm would have played the idol on Denise if he actually thought there was any danger for her?
I don't. I mean, there is this part where he seems to genuinely think that she's safe and stuff, but I also feel like he's already made a final three deal that excludes her. If she just happens to get voted out by not him, oh well. He's already planning to get rid of her at 4. If Abby's still there, he could potentially try to keep Abby. The one reason maybe is that if Abby's there in the final 4 and Malcolm, as it turns out to be true, but hypothetically Malcolm does not win that final 4 immunity, he's seen Lisa start to be a little more strategic, a little more savage. Maybe he worries that they don't honor their final 3 deal, and the idea of taking Abby to the final 3 when you're right there is just too tempting.
Yeah, I think that's probably true, and I think I agree that he wouldn't play the idol on her because he did have that final 3 deal, and I think he knows that he probably has to win immunity there no matter what happens at this vote. There might be a slight less of a need if you also have Denise there to deflect, but it seems. But I you know, but I don't. But I think he kind of knows he has to win that last immunity challenge no matter what.
Although, we'll get into this. He seemed to really think he was safe for a while at that next tribal council, until Lisa can't answer why you'd keep Malcolm.
Right. No, and that's
you
true.
See, you can see the moment where his heart breaks.
Yeah.
But I mean, he just falls it, and he just knows, and it's all he can do to keep from crying at that point, because he knows he's about to get voted out. When he didn't expect to. Yeah,
and he was crying in the voting booth at that vote, which is
right. But whenever, as much as at least with Karamo, when it was a bummer they got voted out, but at least he kind of it wasn't sad like his other 2 seasons. It was just he was so sad,
So sad.
so hard. It's tough whenever they're take it that hard, even if you don't like them as much as we generally like Malcolm.
Right.
But I guess we should. Oh, sorry.
No. I was just going to say that, I mean, so I guess really then the question is, so this is kind of what was happening, why they didn't keep Abby, but should they? I mean, well, I guess we're really talking about should they have. Wait, have we been talking about should they have, or why they didn't, or have we been talking about both?
You are tired. I think primarily we talked about why they didn't.
Right. So we should talk about should they have? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're not being Malcolm or Denise.
Yeah, Denise and Malcolm shouldn't have, because they would be fine either way.
Right.
If anything, it hurts their chance to get to the end, I think, to keep Abby around.
Yes.
Skupin obviously just didn't realize, had no self-awareness of how he was viewed. Lisa, I'm sure, wanted to, and Lisa had been honest enough at tribal council in saying that she would take someone she would beat.
Right.
That I don't think it hurts her the way it would hurt, say, Denise for pushing that narrative, or even Skupin, in that same way.
I mean, it's the type of thing where I think taking Abby to the end would have a lot of backlash because she's so hated, because there's been this narrative of taking the strong people to the end. But I think that backlash would still not go anywhere because they're not going to vote for Abby. The most she's going to get is 3 votes? Artis, Pete, and... No, wait, that's 2 votes. That's the most you'll get.
Yeah, and that's, if that,
right.
Even if it is interesting, we'll talk about that, but Pete even said that he disliked Abby from the beginning.
Well, I don't know about that, Pete. I don't know about that.
Later decisions post-game make that questionable, but that's what he claims. Maybe it's because he wants to fit in with everyone else not liking her.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, so the point is you're not going to lose to Abby no matter what. So I feel like once they take her that far, they just got to take a chance.
Yeah, because as much as in Cambodia, it really didn't seem worth it to leave Abby in even as long as they did, which wasn't nearly as long. There is kind of the sense once you've got her all the way to 5, you're so close. You really can't put up with 5 more days.
Right, especially when and I think it's especially true where there's 2 people who everyone's been telling you will lose to one of these 2 people if you don't take them out. Whereas if there's only 1 person you take out, I think it's different because then I think you could make the argument of Abby hurts my game enough, in terms of standing with the jury that I can't keep her around.
Yeah. And so they do, in fact, vote Abby out, and dancing commences.
Yeah, they are super happy.
Celebration happens, and then they feel like they think...
I was going to say, Abby does go out with one last Abbyism at that tribal council.
Oh, yes. You're right. We do need to talk about that.
Because she has some very finely chosen words for Michael Skupin.
Yeah. So, they're talking. He just kind of... She keeps interrupting him. It's like, oh, you're an idiot. You're a moron. You're a moron. Gotta say though, she's not wrong.
Nope.
Because like,
nope. So I mean, Abby
she might be
obviously.
rude.
Yeah.
She might be rude and she might be bad at this game, but she's absolutely right that Skupin is an idiot to keep Malcolm and Denise instead of keeping her.
Yeah. I mean, and I also think that she's right. I mean, like, I think at that point she obviously knows where they're going. Like they weren't hiding it, I imagine, at that point. Unless, do you think she would actually say it to him if there was any doubt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine if that's what actually swung that vote? That would be amazing.
That would be funny. No, I don't know. I feel like she could think that would help. Like, no, you're an idiot if you're gonna do that. Obviously, you should do what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. This is my hard sell. Right. Come on now. God. Anyway, now, sorry, I kept interrupting you, but we should move on now.
That's okay. So, yeah, so they think they're going to have like a chill day, but it turns out, and we've, in real time, we were wondering, how are they going to do a finale with only 4 people? We find out they're doing an advantage challenge to see who.
Is this the first time we'd seen the advantage challenge before the final challenge, like the final 4 advantage? I think so too.
I think it might be. Yeah.
Because I remember being surprised at that.
Yeah, I believe so. And so Malcolm wins, and so everyone's like, "Oh well, like he needed it."
Right. Except for Skupin, who's like, I've beaten Malcolm on all the physical parts of the challenges. I can definitely beat Malcolm. I was the first one to the puzzle. I could definitely beat Malcolm.
Yeah. Although he also is the one who the most, I think he just likes to play it up in front of us, like, oh, like you needed it, buddy, like, bro, man, dude.
Yeah. This is when the Skupin delusion train is really leaving the building here.
Oh, did that man think he won Survivor?
He thought he won Survivor.
And how?
And
he thought he won at the final 4.
Yeah.
So he must have thought he had it locked up by final 6. Or maybe that's why he had to get rid of Carter at final 5, because he was just.
Yeah, Carter was a huge threat. Everyone was going to lose to Carter.
I think he thought he could beat Malcolm.
I definitely think he thought he could beat Malcolm.
And it's one thing. Well, obviously it was not true, and I disagree. I feel like it's one thing for him to think he could beat Denise, because obviously he does not view that kind of game in the same lens. But he should presumably think that Malcolm was at a similar game, and that, as he said, he won 3 individual challenges, I won 3 individual challenges, and dude, don't you remember Tandang? They didn't like you. Pete is in love with Malcolm. They are soulmates because they are both 24. You're not 24.
Maybe that's why he couldn't tell how Pete really fell. Or maybe he thought Penner would be stumping for him or something.
They'd be wow, he's a returning player who made it to the end.
Right, yeah. Whereas Penner's nah, screw you guys.
And you also know that Jeff Kent adamantly didn't want a returning player to win. That other people agreed with him.
Right. Penner on his way out says Malcolm or Denise is going to win. Abby says Malcolm or Denise is going to win. You have Jeff Kent, who, as you said, doesn't like returning players. You have Pete, who hates you. Artis, who hates you. Where do you think these votes are coming from?
Yeah, he would presumably get RC, which he doesn't. And then I guess he figures he'll get Carter. But if Malcolm's there, I don't think he does get Carter. I mean, maybe.
Definitely doesn't get Carter. It's
that's the only one that's even feasible.
Whose vote Skupin would have
RC.
gotten?
And RC, I think, only votes Lisa because she wants to feel good about herself because she figured out she was a threat.
Oh my God, RC! I appreciate the fact you appeared once more to make us hate you. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know if that was me or you, but I did not hear what you just said.
Sorry, I was just saying that I'm glad that RC could appear once more to remind us of why she's actually terrible.
Oh God, she was awful. But we shouldn't we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we are.
So, they do the Fallen Comrades tour, which I was like, oh, right, that happened. That was a thing that still happened.
Yeah, so
now I wonder when they stopped doing that, because this feels late
it's pretty
doing it.
They stopped doing it pretty soon after this, I feel. They went like on and off a little bit, and I think they stopped soon after this. But now, we should
I know
we keep talking over each other. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You go.
I know what everyone wants to hear is, a detailed analysis of each person of the Fallen Comrades, because it's everyone's favorite part of the finale. Everyone misses it dearly.
I know Andy especially requested it. So
yeah. What we will do, actually, is use this as an opportunity to talk about who we might like to see back.
Yeah, because
from Survivor Philippines.
Yeah, it's like giving a cast assessment. What we thought of the person, and just if we want to see them back. So let's start at the top. Zane.
We haven't had success bringing first boots back in the past. He's entertaining. I don't think he has it in him.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think he's going to be more entertaining than he is in this first episode.
Right. It was perfect. Like, let's not ruin what we have.
Exactly. So moving on.
Roxy. Nah.
Moving on. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times with the early boots, it's hard to truly assess it, because obviously they didn't get a lot of screen time because they were voted out second. What are you gonna do?
Right. But I don't think there's anything terribly interesting to Roxy.
No. How about Angie? Do you want to see more of Angie, Matt?
I do want to see more of Angie, but no, I mean, I actually think that Angie is actually like a little step above the other two. Doesn't mean I want her back.
Yeah, I still wouldn't bring her back. I think I think we'll get there, but I think if you're gonna do it, I think Katie maybe has a little more potential.
That's
of the beauty queens.
Skipping ahead.
Yeah, not to skip ahead, but it was relevant. What are you gonna do?
It was relevant. I'm sorry, but yeah, no, I mean, Angie had like a bit of personality. She was kind of fun, and I think she kind of understood like why she got in trouble, like which I think like actually shows like she does kind of understand the dynamics of the game. But then she says cookies, and I'm not so sure about that actually. So.
And then Russell Swan.
Definitely not. Nope. 2 times was too many.
Dana. They address this in the reunion, and then nothing comes of it, which is kind of mean.
It's kind of mean, yeah. I mean,
if you're gonna be like, oh, maybe.
Yeah, Probst basically walks back the quit and is like, yeah, you got medevac. I know it wasn't technically medevac, but you kind of got medevac there.
Especially because she's saying, she's like, I don't remember there being a choice. So I wonder if she kind of made a fuss, even though as like careful as they were to say, like, you are choosing this. And she's like, I was fuzzy. I don't remember making the choice. But I think, from what little we did see, I think there's, she's a different kind of person than they're usually casting. I think, I think, if they wanted to do basically a Philippines redux of like medevac women, which I think we'd need more to happen. I don't think there's been any.
Well, we got Dana, we got Courtney Moon, and I'm sure you go
John is so excited.
I know, right?
Yeah,
this is John's dream
season. Would do it though, so we'd need 2 more people, two more women to get medevac, which is tough.
Yeah, I'm sure we could come up with them if we thought about it.
Yeah. Although if they did another second chance vote, I think you could make an argument of like, that's why she deserves a second chance.
Right. I mean, and the thing about Dana is we never saw her go to tribal council. We never really saw her play, but it seemed like she had a strategic head on her shoulders. It seemed like she was athletic. She's a different type than what they usually cast. Like, I actually think that she would make some sense to try again. But it's a tough sell because she's a boot that you really remember nothing about because of her circumstances.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to Dawson.
No, her gimmick was that she had a crush on Probst and knew Jeff Kent, and she played that out on this season.
Yeah, she would have to learn some boundaries first, I think.
Or
just personal
boundaries.
Yeah. And then we already said Katie, but we should.
Yeah, I actually think Katie would be a really good bring back. A non-obvious one, but I mean, well, maybe not that non-obvious, but I thought she displayed like good like social awareness, and she's pretty, which I mention only because the show does look to bring back attractive women.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I mean that is true. I think she would help them fulfill. Although now, looking at now, she's probably too old for them. But fulfills, a sort of a casting type. Like they're always looking back to bring. They're always looking to bring back the like bikini model types, right. And she's someone who also seems to have a little bit strategic acumen and stuff. I mean, it's just when your tribe just keeps losing, there's. At a certain point, there's only so much you got.
Exactly. Yeah. But I actually think that if they brought Katie back, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. Yeah. Like I could dig that.
It's sort of like the first time they brought Andrea back.
Yeah. Well, I could definitely dig that. So.
Yes, we know. Matt loves Andrea.
We're really getting lecherous Matt tonight, aren't we?
You're tired. Your inhibitions are lowered.
Yeah, that's true. Next up is RC.
Nope.
They
tried.
And if you heard a third no come faintly through the audio, that's John yelling all the way from Florida.
Yeah. Let's see. After RC was Jeff Kent, right?
Yes. I would love to have Jeff Kent back. Jeff Kent was a blast.
I would too. It would be funny. It would be tough because everyone would know he's Jeff Kent.
Right. It's you can only pull that once, but at the same time, like I don't want Jeff Kent back because I think he can win Survivor. I want Jeff Kent back because I think he was funny on Survivor. Like
what's his exit speech going to be like this time?
Right, yeah. How's he going to blame Obama now?
Also, I loved in the Fallen Comrades part where he's talking about, first of all, Denise says that he was a great athlete.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. And then he also talks about how in baseball, he's played with some real spoiled brats, and maybe he was one of them. It was just like, yes. Like, first of all, that's Barry Bonds, Shane.
Oh, yeah.
Second of all, like, what? He's talking about, like, yeah, that damn Rich Aurelio, the real Jackson. Everyone hates JT Snow. But sorry, these are some deep-cut early 2000s San Francisco Giants.
I recognize all of them. What are you talking about?
Yeah, for most of our listeners to be like, I don't know what's happening. Why are you doing this to me? Why do you two always
a fake name? You should throw out a fake name and see if they can pick it up.
Just throw the wrong Molina. Although I don't think he played at the same time as Benji anyway. But
anyway.
Yeah, that was funny. Jeff Kent would be fun. After Jeff Kent was Artis?
No.
Love that he seemed like he was, nice on his exit, and then he is like super bitter on the jury again, which is weird.
He has resting bitter personality.
Yeah, because he claims that at the reunion that he just has like resting, the male equivalent of resting bitch face. But I'm like, dude, when you talked to though.
Yeah, when you talked to, you were pretty angry.
Yeah.
And then when you got in the jury, you were still angry, and that ain't hunger anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, we're probably good on that one. Plus, again, if Katie's gonna be too old for them to cast nowadays. Or, I mean, Matt's too old for casting now, looking at some 36 stuff.
Wait,
The
what?
season, not your age. The season,
Oh, okay.
not your age. So I realized that was like just close enough that might have been confusing.
It's very confusing.
Sorry
I
about
was
that.
wondering what happened to those missing years there.
Yeah, it's just minor casting spoilers. What Redmond has released of season 36, they're looking young. Like
Very
I
young.
would be like on the old end at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I don't like aging.
No, it's not. It's not fun. But what about Pete Bro? Would you like Pete Bro
I
back?
would totally be down to see Pete back.
I would get so excited if they brought Pete back. I actually think that, aside from one that we will mention later that should be super obvious, he might be the one I want back like most that we have not seen back yet. And I'm including Penner in that.
Like seeing him without Abby, I think would be really interesting. Seeing him a little older, I think would be really interesting. Also, if you get to
villain, like it's hard to cast good villains. I think he's a good villain.
Yeah, because he was at a level that was like fun to just like. He wasn't at Abby where he's just like get him out of here. Also, like if you get to have Katie and Angie and stuff, like I feel like I get Pete, right?
Totally. You definitely get that Pete, bro.
Yeah, seems fair. Then it's Penner, right?
Yeah, then it's Penner.
Bring Penner back as much as you want.
Yeah, I'm always up for more Penner. I'm never going to say no to more Penner. Penner's a delight.
Yep. So that's easy. We got Carter.
Unless he's talking about sauces the entire time. I don't know. Carter doesn't have anything else, right?
It's like I want to say yes. I do. But I don't think we can. But I want it.
You just want his abs back.
No, that's not. I just really don't care. I'm more of a face person, so.
Right. Oh, then he's definitely not your type.
But it's just he's like I just get such joy out of the so dull that he's entertaining thing.
Yeah.
But practically, we really shouldn't. They shouldn't.
No
Carter.
No Carter.
Abby, after seeing her back the second time, don't need it.
No.
Doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
There's better kinds of villains. I'm not down.
Yeah, I mean, I think Abby. The thing about Abby is, I think she can be fun for 4 episodes while you see her blow up other people's games, and then it gets old and tiresome, and she doesn't go anywhere. Because the thing about Abby is, like, you're just not going to get rid of her. No one learns that lesson.
Yeah, she should really. Yeah, if they finally learned, like, God, if she had been, she could have been the first boot. That would have been great.
I mean, look, if she was the first or second boot, that's like the perfect thing for Abby.
Yeah, but there's just too much risk of them letting her go deep into the game, and we don't want that. It's just too frustrating. So no, Abby. So we're gonna move right along and bring Malcolm back whenever you want, as often as you want.
Anytime, bring Malcolm back. We could always use more Malcolm. He's in the Penner Club.
Game Changers didn't count. God damn it.
Malcolm's in the Penner Club. Just keep bringing him back. I don't care. He's awesome.
You dangled that Malcolm in front of us, and then you ripped him away with a stupid twist. But we don't have to get too deep into that. But that's the whole reason we rewatched this season.
It is because we appreciated Malcolm and we wanted to see him again.
Our fill.
Scooping? No. Moving on.
Let's try to decide who counts as third or second.
Moving on, Lisa. Yeah, I'd be up for Lisa.
I actually would. I think Lisa is very compelling. As someone who usually is reluctant to like the sort of super religious people on the show, I think she does it at like a very realistic level. Like it's just who she is. It's what she genuinely believes, but that's her thing. It's not for everyone else. I even found it like kind of touching when they prayed about Denise's injury. Cause it just, even though like to me, like I would just be like, what am I gonna do? Like you can tell that it's really genuine for her, that she's really trying to help this person. And like, that's really nice. It's sweet. And the sort of struggle of how she wanted to play that strategic game and she wanted to be more ruthless.
Yeah.
And she wasn't like as weepy about it. Like she struggled in the beginning of the show, but like people talk about Dawn, and Dawn played a strong game in Caramon, but Dawn's kind of like the whole way through.
Yeah.
And
the other, I think one of the difference between Lisa and Dawn was that Dawn would get you to open up to her because she was reaching out for emotional support. Mm-hmm. So you would offer it because you're trying to help her stop crying, and then she would use the support that you gave her against you. I don't think Lisa was reaching out as much as Dawn was. I think Lisa's conflict was so much more internal.
Yeah, and I think if you bring Lisa back, I think she doesn't struggle as much in the beginning, because she kind of knows what to expect. And so without seeing that part of her, I think there's less of that sort of bitterness, like that she like didn't do or was like wishy-washy, because she would have had a stronger start.
Yeah, like I mean, I actually think Lisa would really be an interesting returnee for a lot. And I think she was a really interesting first-time player. And I think that she's one of the ones who I don't think her entire game would be defined by either her first time or by the same story she told her first time. Like, I think she's like, there's a lot of facets to her. And I think, she could be a really interesting returnee.
Agreed. And then, of course, finally, our winner, Denise.
Who yeah. I mean, like it's. I would say, why haven't they brought her back already?
Yeah.
She's the one I want to see back the most, because I think she's amazing. I think she's a fantastic player.
It's not like we spent several minutes in each episode just being like, Denise is so good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and she really is. Like,
so good.
She's really good. And even in this finale, where I think she does a couple things that could approach being a mistake, she covers them up pretty well. Because it's like, okay, so one was the example of, it seems like she's willing to go into a tie with Malcolm at one point. But the second Malcolm hesitates, she's like, oh, wait, no, Malcolm has no intention of doing that. I got to beat him to Lisa Scoopin'. And she does. Yep. She goes immediately to them, and she's like, hey, you don't actually want to take Malcolm with you, do you? And Lisa's like, no, I don't.
Yeah. And Scoopin's like, yeah, I do. So noble. I've learned nothing from Coach.
Right. I mean, yeah. And then the other possible mistake is she kind of insults Tandang at one point during the Abby tribal. And the only reason I say that's a possible mistake is because the entire jury's Tandang. So you don't want to insult them.
And I do wish that, like, it doesn't end up affecting. I think there was a way for her to walk that back better than she did, because she's talking about how Abby had some luck in getting as far as she did, that's why she doesn't necessarily deserve it, even though she's made it as far as the other four of them.
Right.
And in that, she's like, well, because Tandang never went to tribal. And Lisa, has her Tandang pride, and it's like, well, yeah, but we earned those wins and stuff. And then it's like, yeah, oh, absolutely. What she should have done is been like, but not all of you participated in those challenges.
Right. Yeah.
And so, because I feel like Denise isn't really that concerned about pissing off Abby at this point, and then that kind of shows, I think, better at what she's actually trying to say there.
Yeah, I would agree. But she doesn't make mistakes too often. And so when you do see them, you're kind of surprised, but then she goes back and she covers them up really well, really quickly.
And I think she's underrated in terms of being an actually entertaining person and not just strategic, because her confessionals about Abby are great.
Oh my God, they're hilarious.
Her rapport and just the way she talks to people is entertaining. It doesn't have to be all crazy drama to be interesting.
I totally agree. And I think it's, she has, I think the two relationships that define her this season are two of the most entertaining interactions between cast members on the season, which is her and Malcolm, which is one of the great strategic pairings of, in the show's history, and the way they interact with each other. It's really interesting and entertaining. And then her and Abby, which is like one of the great like conflicts ever, and the way they interact is constantly amusing. Just like I cannot stop laughing at their just constant friction.
Yeah. So we've spent a lot of time on the fallen comrades, so we should move on.
Just like the show spends.
Hey! And then, so it's the Final Four Immunity Challenge. Basically, the advantage is Malcolm gets another star. It's, the one where you hold the pole and like there's the pieces of the pole and the ball rests on it and stuff. I have done that. I've done that challenge at Paley Fest and stuff like that, and it is really hard.
Yeah, I believe it.
I am not good at it. I think I lost to Abby at Pop Fest at Entertainment Weekly. So yikes!
And Malcolm recognizes it right away as the Final 3 challenge from Micronesia or the Cerie Killer.
Yeah, and I think, although maybe he was saying Micronesia, the season Parvati won, but it sounded like he was saying, I remember this challenge in Micronesia, and Parvati won. It sounded like he was saying she won the challenge, which, if you're such a big super fan, Malcolm, you would know that Amanda won.
Yeah, come on now, Malcolm, step up.
Wow, you think you're better than us?
Yeah, well, you
are. Podcast. Yeah, in every other way. Every other way. He went to an Ivy League school and everything. It's just, although Matt's probably the smartest of the Purple Rock people. So.
I think I went to a better school than Malcolm. Take that, Malcolm.
Yeah. Not than me though, but so yeah. So we'll go over. Never mind. We'll go over the. Wow, I'm sorry. I just
No, it's okay. So Malcolm loses the challenge.
Yeah, that's who cares?
His advantage cannot help him because he has the shakiest hands you can imagine. And there actually is one really great camera shot that I wanted to mention because it's so great, which is they managed to catch Malcolm's hands shaking and they pan back and show Scoopin's hands in the same shot. And the difference is just insane. You can tell why Malcolm was so bad at this and Scoopin was good at it.
Yeah, his hands, it's astounding how much they're shaking. It's not that really subtle. They are full. It's as if he's moving all of his arms. It's crazy. Yeah. It's also so endearing that he's yeah, my hands shake when I talk to a girl. I'm really?
No, they don't. Maybe that happened when you were 15.
Yeah, now that we've seen that picture of Malcolm in college, okay, maybe.
Yeah, that's a fair point. So
sometimes that baggage is hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
And then once Denise is out, it's it doesn't even really matter whether Scoopin or Lisa wins that challenge,
No.
Because they're not going as everyone talks about, Malcolm and Denise as this tight pair, and they are, but Lisa and Scoopin are the only ones who are truly ride or die, and it's because they both think they can beat the other, whereas Malcolm and Denise both think maybe they could beat each other, but it would be tough,
right?
And so because they are the better pair of strategic players, they're more likely to turn against each other.
Yeah, and I think it's it's pretty obvious once once Denise talks to Malcolm and Malcolm hesitates that this is not going to be a tie. This is going to be a 3-1 vote in one way or the other.
Yeah, and as we sort of alluded to earlier, that it becomes very clear which way that's going at Tribal Council.
Yeah, it does. And poor Malcolm.
Yeah, it's one thing to think you might be good, but he seemed to think okay, these are people who I've trusted before and who have honored handshakes and stuff before. Yeah. We made a Final 3 deal, and he was so ecstatic on the boat during that roar, because I think he was wow, I made a Final 3 deal with these two people. I just won Survivor.
Yeah, no, he thought he was golden.
And when Lisa, when Probst asks Lisa oh, why would what would be a reason to keep Malcolm, and she just doesn't say anything.
Nope.
For
nope.
several seconds, a while, and you could hear these sort of it's well, don't hesitate too much. and then when she finally says, like, there is no reason, and then he's just like, well.
Sad Charlie Brown music started playing.
And he's all teary when he votes for Denise, and it's so sad. And this is
Congratulations to you.
Yeah. And this is like really corny of me, but I wish Denise and Malcolm had hugged when he had gotten voted.
Yeah.
Because they had been through so much, and like they knew it was one or the other. You know, it's like, I mean, he ends up voting for Denise, but it almost was a little like the Sydney and Aubrey thing, where like Sydney was mad that Aubrey voted for her when she voted for Aubrey. But yeah, so he does the congratulations, Denise, and then that night, Scoopin is so upset about that, but like trying to play it cool, like, wow, that's an interesting thing to say after being like backstabbed by an ally. And I'm like, Denise didn't make a Final 3 deal with Malcolm. Like, Malcolm probably at least recognized, even though it's like recognized, oh, I shouldn't have hesitated when she asked about Final 3. You shook on it.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, again, just Scoopin's delusions are just running wild this episode.
Like, I don't even think Malcolm would care that much about betrayal, although it maybe would take more than being the last person voted out, because usually that person's the bitterest just because they've had very little time to get over it. But, like, I don't even think, that's the issue, but it's just so funny that he think, like, that not only does Scoopin assume he's winning, but like he also thinks that it's weird, or like he also thinks that Malcolm was betrayed by Denise, but like doesn't seem to think he betrayed Malcolm.
I know it's Scoopin's mind just it ain't working in the normal ways.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Let's move on from Scoopin. So we go to Final Tribal. It's everyone is just kind of lecturing Lisa and Scoopin. That's kind of what it seems like, right?
Yeah, and when they do talk to Denise, it's interesting. They don't say too much about like what she did, which is weird because I feel like this isn't a season where we view it as the winner being kind of the default person, like your Fabio or your Bob. Like, I think, Denise did a lot to get there, but in terms of the jury questions, they don't seem to care to like talk about. No one's pulling a David Murphy on her.
Yeah, well, I think part of it is that I think they do see Denise as a deserving winner, but I think they really dislike Lisa and Scoopin. Like, I think they just really dislike those two, and more than we remembered. Or at least more than I remembered. Well, Scoopin about as much as I remembered. Lisa more than I remembered. And some of the Lisa hate is very kind of like, like poorly targeted. Like, Artis lectures her for not like sticking with Tandang Strong, but she didn't vote against Tandang, so I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
He's very bitter for someone who, like, his ear should be only focused on Scoopin. Like, that's the only person it makes sense for him to be upset about.
And then there's, Penner, telling everyone what Lisa does in a way that's honestly pretty ugly.
Yeah, like, we love Penner, but that whole Final Tribal for him was a bad look between how he was talking to Denise. Like, what did Denise do in that tribe? Like, if
I don't know.
Maybe you want to make the argument for the Abby, tribal council, like when Abby was crying, although we would, I think, disagree with that. But like, what happened during Final Tribal that it was like, oh yeah, you're acting like a bitch or whatever, which isn't exactly how he phrased it, but it's what he meant.
Yeah, I think it was just putting on a show, but I still think what he did with Lisa was kind of crappy, and I really like Lisa's comeback to him, which is, did you tell anyone what you did as a teenager, or did you tell them what you were doing now?
Yeah, Lisa's comeback is great, and his response to that doesn't make any sense. Like, he is completely flattered. He's just like, no, but like, I don't think anyone cares. Like, I could tell you guys now, and it's like, that's not the point, like, at all.
At all. No, it's not. And it's, it's kind of shitty. So, but yeah. So that's why I kind of saying like it seemed like Lisa and Scoopin got painted with the same brush, and I don't think that was entirely fair.
No. Abby was interesting. I think Denise had some good shade towards Abby there because like Abby's like, oh, I was heartbroken, I was demoralized, and blah blah blah. When you talked to me, like said that I was unlikable or whatever, and Denise is just like, well, oh, I apologize if you were truly traumatized, if you're truly demoralized. Like she put such an emphasis on truly there that like. It's just to me at least, maybe not even in the room, and I'm sure not to Abby, but like to the audience, or to me, it seems it was like, I don't think this is really going to affect your life that much.
Yeah, and didn't she say something
if it did, I'm sorry.
And didn't she say something about like also like, oh, I'm happy you're using this as a growth opportunity? Like, didn't she say something like that?
I honestly can't say, I don't remember, but
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, and then just for the voting, like it's evidence for. Well, as we said, RC really shows how annoying she is again in this.
I mean, but at least she she made it so Scoopin didn't win second outright because Carter, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, so I just although RC's vote is for Lisa is so clearly just because she's like. I decided, and it's weird. Like, honestly, it's weird for RC to have pinpointed Lisa as a threat from the beginning, not knowing who she was or anything. But it's so clearly like, look how smart I was because right away I knew you were trouble and wanted to get rid of you day one because you were a threat. So I'm going to vote for you to win because that's how smart I was.
Yeah.
However, I can't really imitate her horrendous laugh, but I can.
No, you can't. I mean, it was terrible, and it reminded me of every reason why I dislike RC. So, but and Carter.
And I should say it's not even just that her laugh, like the sound of her laugh is bad, but like the inappropriate placement of her giggling is worse.
Yeah, she uses it.
Because you can't help how you sound, like you can't help that, but she's just. Like, she laughs at the end, like, when she's walking back to the bed. I'm like, what? What's so funny? What are you doing?
I don't know. But yeah, so the votes come in. Lisa and Scoopin get one, and Denise gets the rest.
Yay!
Huh? Yay!
Scoopin. What? Why he spells it so wrong?
I don't know. So, any parts of the reunion that stuck out to you? Besides the fact that apparently this season occurred right after the Newtown shooting, which that was a surprising reminder.
Oh, that didn't. I only noticed it because I looked at the AV Club thing, but that didn't show up when I was watching it via Hulu.
It showed up on Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon. On Amazon, do they divide the finale from the reunion? Is it two separate episodes?
Yeah, they do. But they divide. They divide it after the votes are read. So, so like after like the votes are read and they throw it to commercial, then the next episode starts with the reunion.
It is possible that I just didn't notice because I was like, I took a brief break between the finale and the reunion, but I think they might have just cut out that because it's at the very beginning, right?
Yeah, it's actually Probst's like introduction right before he reads the votes, so that's why I'm kind of surprised.
I don't know. They might have just didn't catch it because at that point I was like, yeah, Denise wins and not paying attention. Yeah. I had just gotten back from vacation and had been in the car for like ever.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Luckily, we've made such progress with gun control since then.
Moving on.
Yep.
I don't think they want to hear this from us.
I did wonder.
Yeah, what'd you wonder?
In terms of in the reunion show, Probst asks Scoopin, like, did you expect to get more votes? And like, it gotta be like, because like the rumor, like Scoopin allegedly like leaked the whole season, right? And said that he won.
I think he leaked a boot list with him winning.
Yeah, and so I feel like They gotta know, and like I'm sure there were at least at the very least there were confessionals of him talking about how he thought he won, but like it gotta feel like he asked for that because he like knew that Scoopin did that or something, right?
Yeah, I think he's rubbing that in his face a bit there.
Because they never ask stuff like that.
No.
Like not that like, oh, did you think you were gonna win and you didn't? Like,
yeah.
And then basically most of the rest of the reunion is a lot of people just trolling Jeff Probst.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of like they get some good ones in there. People tease, people joke about 5-finger handshakes. Lisa jokes about winning $600K, not $1 million.
Yeah.
Lisa like just says the Facts of Life theme, which I thought was really funny. You have they bring Scoopin the diving mask that he broke on his face.
Dawson runs up and kisses Probst, which is
right. He should probably get that restraining order.
Yeah, good call.
Artist makes fun of his angry face. Carter makes fun of his lack of personality.
Malcolm Carter allegedly like instructed everyone to not say that, to say they wouldn't have voted for Malcolm.
Yeah, which was right, but I think he told Malcolm that too, because like they talked about that Probst would ask them that,
but they did not tell Probst because Probst was like, really?
Yeah, yeah.
I guess Denise would have won, and Malcolm probably would have won, but I think it's a lot closer. I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility.
I honestly, I don't think it's even that close. I think Malcolm wins that one going away.
I guess it would depend on, well, yeah, I guess, and also he doesn't make clear in this vote, in like his like vote, because like Lisa says she'd vote for Malcolm. I'm like, wait, which one of the three is supposed to be on the jury? You have to like define that part.
Yeah. No, it's that is true, but I honestly think Malcolm gets a lot of those votes.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I really wondered with the reunion was, did Penner get plugs? Because his hair looked like he got plugs. No offense, Penner, I love you, man, but you did not have that much hair on the island.
I mean, he did. It was just on his face.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe he
kept the beard for the jury, too, which is interesting.
He could move it to the top. Can't you do that? You can't do that. No.
This is not my area of expertise.
I need answers. No reason why I'm so interested.
But yeah, then they do a little of like, oh, Malcolm, would you be willing to play again?
Right. And then what's funny was I thought they were kind of setting up to like announce a few of the people for Fans v Faves. But no, they just say it's like, hey, we're going to do this type of season again. And we got 10 big fans. And I'm like, wait a minute. I've seen that season. You did not find 10 big fans.
You found 2 fans and 8 people. Maybe like 4 fans and
Eddie's dog does not count as a fan.
I was saying Sherry, Laura Alexander, Matt Bischoff, and Mike Snow.
Yeah, I think that's probably right, actually.
And the others. Oh wait, Allie Allie ended up working in casting. Allie probably was a fan.
Oh, did she?
I think she might still work for casting. So I think we just assume. Yeah, way to turn being first or second boot into a career like A+.
Yeah. You should definitely suck up to Allie then.
But yeah, and they don't share any of the favorites, which is interesting.
Right, I kind of thought they would, especially when they start like asking Malcolm, "Are you going to come back?" And I was like, "Oh, so they're just going to be like, we're bringing some of your favorites back, like Cochran and Malcolm." But no, they didn't do that.
I think they knew that the people they were bringing back favorites was almost as loose of a definition as fans was.
That's a fair point as well. But yeah, and then and this was also still in the time when we had fan votes. So of course,
last time, I believe.
Was this the last?
Oh no, the second to last. Sorry, they did do it on Karen Moen.
Oh, okay.
Because Brenda almost won.
That's right, I remember that. Who did win that? Was it Cochran or was it
Malcolm? I think I think Malcolm rightfully won in
Oh, okay.
favor of favorites.
So
and
Malcolm
was
avenged his
robbed.
loss. Yeah, Malcolm avenged.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Lisa God vote was strong, stronger than we
I don't know
thought.
if it was that or like old people do facts of life because like none of us vote in that stuff.
Right. You know,
Like that's shocking.
You know, it's actually kind of funny considering that she won that she hasn't been asked back. I mean, maybe she has no interest in coming back, but like, you know, there's obviously an audience for her.
Yeah, I think she started acting again.
Did she?
I saw her. I was at a cabin with some friends, and they were like flipping through, the random channels that are available, and she was like in a Lifetime channel movie or something like that.
Okay, good for her.
Yeah. Maybe she'll start with Wyatt Nash, aka I can't even remember his real name anymore. Jesus Matt.
Oh, I had no idea who you were talking about.
Yeah, no, Jesus Matt from Redemption Island is like changed his name and is an actor now. It's weird.
Oh, okay, good for him, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta stay up with the gossip.
I rely on Andy and Barbara Anderson to keep me up to date.
Yeah, I do kind of as great of a source as Barbara is. It was fun when Andy was the one who knew all the gossip.
And he did know a lot of it, which is really funny.
He knew more than I did, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, we I think have addressed everything we needed to address, unless you have anything left.
I have nothing left.
Well, I know you've got a lot of packing and stuff to do. You've got a busy day ahead of you tomorrow, so we will wrap this up. Thank you all for joining us, indulging us on our summer rewatch of one of our favorite seasons, Survivor Philippines, and getting to watch the magic that is Denise and her pairing with Malcolm, which is always great fun.
Yep.
You can find this podcast and everything else we do at purplerockpodcast.com. We do have a blog series coming up. More details on that later. I don't know if we've fully finalized the dates of stuff, so I'm not going to fully announce that, but it should be fun.
I think you'll start seeing stuff for that next week.
Yeah, and if you don't feel like checking a site all the time, follow the show's Twitter account at Purple Rock Pod. You can follow me at Purple Rock Emma. You can follow Matt at Purple Rock Matt.
Yep.
Mark at Purple Rock Mark.
And before we sign off for the final time, let's actually thank John and Andy for running the podcast and allowing us to take it over for 5 episodes of this summer series. I had a great time. Did you have a good time, Emma?
I had a good time.
Good.
And for doing whatever minimal editing they do, and Andy always sets up the post for us and stuff like that. So thanks.
And
you
John
can follow
always.
them.
Does John actually do anything? Who cares? But you can follow him at Purple Rock John.
And Andy at Purple Rock Andy. You probably could have figured that out by now, though. We have a nice little uniform. We've got Josh Wigler once said we had the strongest branding
in the Survivor podcast community, because damn it, we worked for that.
And worked for nothing else.
No. That's the amount of effort we will expend.
Yeah, creating cartoon avatars and uniform names. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, farewell and theme music.